Man, 100 grand Ross with the rock never stops. Today we got to talk about these Pistons this offseason because I got some inspiration this morning. I know it's a little diabolical. I'm wearing the Michael Jordan t-shirt. It's diabolical out here, you know what I mean? But hey, legends are who they are. It doesn't mean we don't like who we like. All this to say is I got a little inspired this morning. I was trying to get out the bed, kind of a lazy morning. My daughter's back with her mom's right now. So, kind of taking my time to start my day and put on YouTube real quick. I see a little clip from my man Prentice Powell. If you haven't checked out his YouTube channel, if you like spoken word, stuff like that, yo, he's a monster, bro. Prentice Powell, check him out. Absolutely incredible artist. And then I seen a little short from my man Downtown Deuce, one of my favorite Pistons content producers out there right now. Just always, man, he just always seems to be on the level. He sees similar things. He also sees things that sometimes I don't see. And one of the things that he pointed out in this short, he had this short entitled, Here's Why the Pistons Will Win 50 Games Next Season. And I was like, 50? You know me, I got them between 44 and 46, right? All the variation of what can happen throughout the course of a season and just how the landscape of the league is changing. We're not as top heavy in the East as maybe the Western Conference is, but we still got a bloated middle class. We got a whole lot of teams that have reshuffled things, and now they're looking like they can contend for at least that middle tier playoff seating from 3 through 10 is wide open. Is wide open. The Magic, the Pistons, the Pacers, the Raptors, uh, uh, shoot, probably even the Bucks. Like all those guys, the Boston Celtics. Everyone's gonna be trying to get into that. Right? Charlotte's gonna try to fight its way to the back end of the play-in. Atlanta's gonna be right there. We have a bloated middle class, and so I was a little bit conservative. I said 44 to 46, and I'll stand by that. I don't mind being proven wrong. This past season, I said 35 wins. That was what I was forecasting. We're going from 14 to 35. That's a huge jump. Right outside the play-in. Yo, they put me to shame. Went way past that. Got to 44. Hey, God bless them. This season, though, I had to see why my man Downtown Deuce was like 50 wins. And he brought up something really, really interesting. Really interesting. He said last offseason, fans had a similar sentiment about the offseason acquisitions that Trajan Langdon made that they do this season. They said they overpaid for Tobias Harris. They said Malik Beasley, Tim Hardaway Jr. were mediocre acquisitions. Nobody was excited about the offseason that the Pistons had last season. Nobody. In fact, they had more criticism than anything else. And yet, they had the greatest turnaround in NBA history. And then I started thinking to myself, started thinking about some of the quotes from Trajan Langdon about this offseason. Statements he made about how they got bigger on the perimeter, how they're bringing in the right people to fill in certain roles while still creating space for this young core to grow and step into larger roles. And I started thinking to myself, I was reading through the comments. I read through the comments. I like to read through the comments, see what other people are saying. And this one cat was saying, he was pointing out that last season, something that I've shared before is that last season we were the hunter. Everyone was the hunted. We was at the bottom and we was looking up at everybody. Nobody was checking for us. And this season, teams will be checking for us. Teams will be thinking about how do we pressure Cade all 94 feet? How do we get the ball out of his hands? But something that this other cat in the comment section brought up, I believe it was a response by Downtown Deuce. He said, and shout out to the content providers who actually respond to comments in the comment section. I don't know if y'all appreciate that. I try to respond to all the comments in the comment section. Right? It's just something that I enjoy doing. But it's to say, he said, You have to understand, as much as the rest of the league might be checking for the Detroit Pistons, none of the league has seen our starting five play together at the same time. So they can't check for us. They can't prepare for what they have no game film on. They can't prepare for what it's going to look like to see Cade, Ivy, Asar, and Duran all together. There is no film on that. There is no game tape. There is no, hey, this is how it's going to look. It's completely in their imagination. And the best they're going to be able to do is just forecast. Well, maybe if we see some of this and we see some of that, be ready for this type of action or that. The league is going to be learning about us just as much as we will be in real time, which gives us a distinct advantage throughout the early season. Now, it does also need to be said that we will also see how the schedule comes out next year. Because based upon how the schedule comes out, it's really going to impact how the season might look for us. Remember, I know a lot of people said after Ivy got hurt, we have this turnaround. A lot of it was due to Asar Thompson turn around the defense. We also have to recall that we were front loaded all of our hard and heavier games. So we had the over 500 playoff teams, contending teams, all in the front half of the season, which is why we kind of started off with that slow start. And then we were able to catch up on the back end and make that run. So the scheduling also is going to impact how next season looks. But keep in mind this, that it doesn't matter who we face. No one's going to have any type of preparation for what we're going to bring. And that's what I want to kind of talk about today. These offseason moves. And where does that leave us ranking in the Eastern Conference going into the next season? Let me get to some of these comments because this is an interactive live chat. Sandro, what's good, man? It's always good to see you in the chat, man, for real. I know this is off topic, but bro, you need to continue talking about what you said earlier in another stream when you said how you once coached a team. You can't just gloss over that. We need to know. Oh yeah, coach at a local community college, and then I did some work with like different camps. I used to do a lot of camp stuff, and then I did some coaching with like travel teams in Eastern Europe. Uh, we went to the Philippines. Um, yeah, some other spots. But yeah, I've done a whole lot, man. I'm a little bit older, man. I've had a great run. I've had a great run, bro. Had a great run. I've trained players, developed, coached, played. Um, Not the traditional trajectory of high school to pros or, one of the known leagues, but I still got to travel the world playing basketball, bro. So I'm totally grateful to the game. And this channel is just another outlet for me to just show appreciation and love to the game, bro. Uh, Want to become the Pistons assistant coach? You might cook. I appreciate that. Finna turn Ivy into Clay and Asar and into Scotty Pippen, hopefully. I think Ivy could be way more than Clay, though. Way more than Clay. Ivy is probably one of the more exciting players for me. One of the things I always talk about is gravity. Gravity on the offensive end and even the defensive end. Do you have gravity? Do you have that ability to shape how teams are guarding you? Uh, and when I say shape how they're guarding you, I mean direct their attention to you, where everyone is looking out for you. Everyone is worried about that guy. And I don't know if you all go through some of these YouTube Detroit Pistons highlights from the, 24-25 season, but the highlights are exciting as hell. Like they're really spectacular as fuck. Like we've got crazy highlights, like crazy highlights. But one of the highlights that I really, really enjoyed was seeing Jaden Ivey and Asar Thompson get downhill, mostly Jaden Ivey, get downhill with Cade Cunningham on the court and collapsing the defense and kicking the ball out to a wide open Cade Cunningham for an open three. Can y'all imagine how that plays out? When Cade and Ivy are collapsing defenses and they're getting wide open threes, like one of the things you have to realize is that both of them are really good shooters, above average. But I always say the quality of your threes is going to impact your efficiency. If all you're taking is threes off the bounce, off the dribble, which is the hardest NBA three-pointer to take, it's going to impact that efficiency. But when you have other players who are able to create open looks for you because of their ability, their talent, their skill, their gravity, your efficiency is going to skyrocket. But not just your efficiency, your overall offensive impact. Because now what you do is you kind of create this like damned if you do, damned if you don't type of catch 22 that defenses hate to be in. Do I leave LeBron to double Luca? Do I leave Austin Reeves to help on LeBron? Do I come off of Pascal Siakam to help with Halliburton? Do I leave Carl Anthony Towns to stick with Brunson on this pick and roll? Like when you can put teams in that type of a lose lose situation, you're always going to be in the advantage. The game is always going to be in your hands. All you have to do is knock down shots and keep playing defense, and you should win. Last season, we didn't really have that. We had Cade, who created a lot of openings for everyone. Malik Beasley, Tim Hardaway Jr., those guys had fantastic years, mostly in part due to Cade Cunningham's brilliance, his talent, his gravity. But what happens when you have other guys who can play make for him, like get him open, like create opportunities for him to get a wide open look? That's where things get reshaped. Can you imagine Cade Cunningham getting two, maybe three wide open threes in games because they're collapsing on Asar Thompson? Yo, look at some of the moves that Asar Thompson made. I really challenge y'all. Go through and watch some of his highlights. Some of these highlights that people are posting on YouTube. Go check it out. Tell me Asar ain't got game. Tell me he ain't got game. I'm seeing him cross dudes up and then dunk it with two hands while they're still hanging from him. Like getting to the rim at ease, slipping between defenders, getting to spots and shots that I'm just like, only he could get to that. Only he would have that level of athleticism and quickness and size and skill to get to that shot. And yet, some of y'all still don't really see the jump that's going to take place. Like, there's going to be so many open looks between Cade, Ivy, Asar, and Duran that it's going to play into their hands for improving their shooting. Duran, Asar, their shooting should improve merely by the open looks provided by Cade and Ivy. And sometimes I think it's easy to take that for granted because you're sitting there and you're saying, like, look, hey, based on what we saw last year, can they replicate that? But I'm not looking for them to replicate what they did last year because they didn't all share the court last year, which means that they probably had to work far harder last year than they're going to have to work this year. So it's not necessarily about replicating the best of what they did last year. It's more so what can it look like when they're all together leveraging their talent. So now the game becomes easy, bro. Easy. Get to some of these comments here. You mean defensively or scoring wise? Or another thing, when you're talking about him being better than Clay, I think Ivy will become a better shot creator and stuff. Facts. I think he'll become a better shot creator. He'll do better getting out in transition. He'll do better breaking down the defense, straight line drives, getting to the rim, getting to the free throw line, which is a big skill. Uh, he'll also be better at putting pressure on defenses. I know Clay puts a lot of pressure on defenses as a shooter. However, even in his prime, you were still looking at like if you could run him off the 3-point line, if because he had that quick release. If you can, that's your main kind of focus. Ivy, teams are going to be really scared to run him off the line because he's literally one bounce, two steps, and he's dunking. So I think he's going to get a lot of open threes. How he's going to score, I think he's going to be more similar to like a Ray Allen. Like I don't think his game is that compact yet. Like Ray coming out of UConn had crazy bounce and his game was just tight. I don't think Ivy's game is that tight yet, but that's a great veteran for him to try to kind of model his game after, right? Coming off of screens, pin downs, getting that ball, catch right into that shooter's pocket. If you're not in my way, I'm letting it go. The moment you step into that zone, pump fake, one dribble, pull up. One dribble, you're here in the mid range, two steps, I'm right at the rim, right? Like getting a very compact game could really benefit Ivy, which I think he's going to have over time. But as to say, I think he's just going to be in a different classification than a Clay Thompson. But good point though. How we feeling like about Malik Beasley these days? I'm not a fan of kicking a brother while he's down. So I'm not even going to really speak on it. That's his business. What's happening with him? I hope he, makes it through. Is able to have a great career, continue to learn and grow and develop, and make the most of a career. Because we all know, like after 30, you on the downside, and next thing you know, you hit 34, 35, 36, you out the league, and then you got the rest of your life. You got the rest of your life, bro. You got another, hopefully, God willing, knock on wood, 60 years of living, right? Human beings are supposed to live to over 100. It's our lifestyle that keeps us from doing that. All I'll say is I hope that he gets his life on track, um, and then makes the most of this window. So as he transitions, he doesn't have any regrets, just lessons he's learned and ways that he's been able to grow. You know what I mean? The last comment here, and then we're going to dive in to this off season. Also, I want to know who you got winning in a fight. Amin Thompson or Tyler Hero. Straight boxing, no wrestling. Because Amin will cook him. Bro, you crazy. Sandro, man, you crazy, bro. You crazy, bro. I don't know. I would say Asar has the length. I think he might be a little bit more heavy-handed, definitely more athletic, so you can kind of like close that distance. Um, I think Tyler Hero is scrappy at best, but I think Asar put hands on him. Because you gotta understand, like he grew up with his twin brother Amin Thompson, right? So they've been in plenty of scraps. He's got plenty of experience, right? If he's going up against his twin, what the hell is Tyler Hero gonna do? Tyler Hero is what 6'3", 6'4" without shoes, measuring up to 6'5" with shoes, right? Asar Thompson is probably like 6'8". What are you talking about? There's weight classes for a reason. My money would be on Asar Thompson. Easy. All right, last question. Andrew Love. Andrew Love, I don't know if I've seen you in the chat before, but welcome to the community, man. It's your man, Ross with the Rock Never Stops, talking Pistons NBA content here. Ivy don't have the game to be a Ray Allen. Uh, I'd never said he has. Oh, let me put. You know what? Let me stop. Pause. Think about your point here. His game is not as refined as Ray Allen's. I think first of all, Ray Allen. Well, both stayed to their sophomore year, I believe. Um, Ray Allen's game is just far cleaner. Like Ray Allen doesn't have the quick release. I'm sorry, Jaden Ivey doesn't have the quick release that Ray Allen had. He does have the range. He does have the shooting skill. It's just not as refined to get it off as quickly and as effectively yet. Ray Allen had a very compact game playing in Milwaukee out of UConn. Jaden Ivey has still been developing his game. Keep in mind, when Ray Allen was in Milwaukee, he had Sam Cassell and Glenn Big Dog Robinson, right? So he had a supporting cast already. He was able to step in and fill in Whereas Ivy came to the Pistons and Cade got hurt that first year, remember? So he was asked to slide over to the point guard position. So he wasn't necessarily in his natural shooting guard, off guard role. So he hasn't had the opportunity to really develop his game. And at the same time, he's playing with a very young team as well. So it's not like you can just play to your strengths the whole time and other guys kind of make the game easy for you. I'm not saying he's as good as Ray Allen. He's not. I would never say that. Ray Allen is one of the greatest of all time, right? He's easily top. I might put him in my top 30, 25, 30 players of all time. He was that nice from the get, from the get. But I digress. Ivy is still going to have a good year. I wouldn't be shocked if he's averaging over 20 points a game, 4 or 5 rebounds, 4 or 5 assists by the end of the season. Definitely check those month by month accumulated stats. Right. I think by the time he gets to March, April, what he looks like might be monstrous. And it looks like he's also betting on himself for his next contract extension. He's going to be looking for something in the realm. It sounds like over 30 a year, which I'm not mad at. I'm not mad at. Go get your money, man. You have a short window. And betting on yourself, I'm a big time bet on yourself guy. Jimmy Butler, those guys, bet on yourself. All that's to say is, I think they're gonna have a spectacular year. Now, let me get to your comment here. You're my goat for that speech on Malik. Love you for that, bro. Yeah, man. Experience in life and wise. Appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. Yeah, man. Basketball is real as fuck, bro. I'm gonna be real with you, man. Like I am, and I'm getting a little bit off topic, but like I played basketball, bro. I love the game. I love the game, bro. I love the game. Growing up, basketball was my escape from poverty, gang life, everything. You know what I mean? And so my love for the game is real. I used to play every day, like every day, like Sunday through Saturday, all day. But I'm old enough to recognize that it's not a forever sport. It's not. Like I've had the Gordon Hayward injury, right? Where he like the foot, I had that. You know what I mean? And I didn't have NBA surgeons. So the game takes a toll on your body. It's not always something you get to continue to play into your 40s and 50s and so on. If you can, that's beautiful. But more than likely, you can't. And so it's there to be enjoyed. I never forget that this is a game. This is a pocket. It's a window in life. It's not your forever. It's none of these guys forever. And so it's a beautiful thing that they have an opportunity to make the most of it. Cade, Ivy, Duran, Asar, Tobias Harris, right? The second act or third act of his career, right? First act, Pistons, Magic, or I should say the Magic, then the Pistons. Then he goes to the Clippers, has a really good season there, ends up with Philadelphia. That's kind of his second act, the Clippers, Philly. Now he's back in Detroit for his third and probably final act, right? And then he's looking at what's the next part of my life like? Maybe front office, right? But most guys don't stay in the front office, so he's probably gonna have another maybe 10 to 15 years, maybe of that. And then he's got life. He's got to have his kids that he may not have had a lot of time with when he was playing, right? And grow in life, grandparent, like he's gonna have more life, So I never forget that. I never forget. That's why I'm always rooting for the players. No way Allen is top 30 though. Maybe top 30 shooting guards. Wow, Mike PH. Wow, shots fired. Shots fired. Ooh, the comment section is spicy right now. It's spicy, bro. I thought I was diabolical for wearing the Jordan t-shirt. I just wore the first thing that came to mind. I thought I was gonna be coming in spicy. Y'all coming in hot, bro. Some of these takes. You said Ray Allen is not even top 30. It's not even top 30. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I stay with a all-time greatest list. I stay with an all-time greatest list. I pull it up anytime, shoot, anytime. Let's see. Uh, uh, uh. NBA players. That's the current all-time greatest list. Ah. All right. Would you say Ray Allen better than Melo? You know what? You know what? Respect. You called me on it. I don't even have Ray Allen in my top 30. He might be maybe top 50. I might have to, and shoot, I'll give you my top. I'll give you my, you know what? Just because I ain't never, I'm Bernie Mac. I ain't never scared of you, mother. I ain't never been scared, bro. That ain't never been me. That ain't never been me. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. Keep it 100 with you. Keep my list on me. We can go toe to toe for the list. Toe to toe for the list. All time greatest list. You ready? Hope you ready. Hope you ready. You come at me with smoke. You come at me with smoke. Andrew Love, welcome to the space. We can go in. We still gonna get to the topics at hand. But let's go in. Let's do it. At the top of my GOAT list, these seven, the spectacular seven. Yeah. Top 30 shooting guards is crazy, bro. Crazy. Ray Allen's easily top 10. And we could talk about what top five is looking like. Jordan, Kobe, Steph. Y'all wasn't ready for that. Not a point guard. Ain't ever been a point guard. Just because he's got handles and he's shorter doesn't make him a point guard. Jeff Hornacek was 6'2" and got assists. Was not a point guard. Think about it. But after that, he's better than Clay. Probably he's done more than Mitch Richmond. Clyde Drexler maybe has him. Okay. That's four. Harden transitioned to point guard a long time ago, bro, and has stayed at point. He's a point. Wade, okay, I'll take Wade over Ray. That's five. That's five. I'll give you that. I'll give you Wade at five. Reggie, I'll take Ray over Reggie. I'll take Ray over Reggie. T Mac, okay, that's six. That's six. Respect the list. Respect the list. Allen Iverson, bro. Okay. This is where we got. Are we counting longevity? Joe Dumars is nice, but bro, don't do that to him. Don't do that to him. Because then we got to call him out. Call him out. And if we call him out, then it seems like we're slandering him. All right. Allen Iverson, Ray Allen conversation is real. Came out in the same draft. Ironically, with Kobe. Some really good players. George Gervin. I would say that's about where Ray Allen's level. Manu is not in the Manu was nice. He ain't never carried a team. Doesn't have he doesn't have the accolades, the All-Star games. Yeah. Hope that injury did not hurt too much. Or it hurt as hell. Like feeling better. Some injuries feel uh that's a entire lifetime. Nah, man, this injury I'm gonna keep for a long time, bro. Joseph, Vince. Vince, was he a 2 or a 3? Was he a 2 or a 3? I looked at Vince as a small forward. You say he was a 2? If you tell me Vince Carter was a 2, okay, okay, okay. There's an argument to be made. Allen Iverson, there's an argument to be made. That's still Ray Allen in the top 10. He's still top 10. But honestly, some of it is also revisionist. He said he's fringe. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I thought Vince Carter was a 3, if I'm honest with you. I thought he was a 3. I always thought he was a 3. I could look back on those rosters and see who he played with. I'm pretty sure he played with shooting guards next to him. I also think that D Rose understood that basketball is a sport, not his entire life. Yeah, but I think also his injury welcome up to that. I think his injury and trying to come back from it, which I completely empathize with because I spent a year after my injury trying to come back, and didn't have the same rehab people, didn't have the same surgeons, and I actually got another surgery I got to go back for. But all this to say is, when you recognize shit done changed, it done changed, and that's just a reality of the game. And life is change, so you got to embrace that shit. Um, Ray Allen is definitely top 10. He's definitely top 10. You look at the longevity of his career, what he was able to do. He maybe didn't have the peaks of some of these other guys, but sustainability, health, consistency is really also big time. Is really also big time. People forget Ray when he was Jesus Shuttlesworth. Bro, I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you, bro. It was complete score dunking on cat. Yep. Save LeBron's. Yeah. Come on, bro. Hitting one shot. It's great. Amazing. Did y'all see all the plays LeBron was making in that finals to get to that shot? Come on now. Come on now. Everybody talks about it, man. It's been spoken either way. I'm gonna give you my greatest all time. Now, I'm gonna run through the list real quick, and then we're gonna get to this off season. Um, Ray when he had hair was different. Facts, he was, bro. Milwaukee Ray is scary, bro. Scary. All right, let me get to my all time greatest list because I just like to go through it and I keep it on tap. And it's nice to be able to, take the list out every once in a while, flex on y'all because it's like real shit. It's like real. Like some of these dudes we don't recognize, and some of it is you got to be old enough to have seen them, right? Some people only remember Ray Allen from Miami and Boston. If that's your only recollection of Ray Allen, I get it. You didn't see Milwaukee and Seattle. Those years was scary. So if you didn't see those years, but let me go through my list. 1 through 7 all have a case to me for the greatest of all time. 1 through 7 all have a case. I would say more than anything, 1 through 3 probably have the best cases for all time great. So I have them in that bracket 1 through 3 and 1 through 7 for the GOAT list. LeBron, Kareem, Michael. Those three. Completely different sets of accolades, dominated from day one. That means something. So when some of y'all start talking about Stephen Curry and all that, I said from day one. Don't give me excuses. You got out of high school and said day one. Well, they had it day one. Day one greatness is different. Sandro, you laughs, bro. Ah, man, you becoming one of my favorite people in the chat. Oh man, I said James for me is 1, but I said 1 through 3 all have an equal case. LeBron, Kareem, Michael, they all have a case. Some of us are not old enough to recognize Michael was getting his ass handed to him for the first 7 years. Y'all forget getting his ass handed to him. He was putting up stats. No one thought he could win. Right? That was people forget that. Most people only saw the championships. 3 in a row, retirement, coming back, 3 in a row. Most of y'all never really took a look at Jordan pre Pippen and Phil Jackson. Right? Pistons was bullying and whooped it. Facts. Right? So this is something that you gotta keep in mind. All right. LeBron, Kareem, Jordan all have that is probably the Mount Rushmore. 1, 2, 3. Boom. Let's just separate them, cap it there. 1, 2, 3. Wherever you want to put it. LeBron, Kareem, Michael. They dominated not just for an era, they changed the game, redefined it, set themselves apart from everyone else. There was nothing anyone else can do once they came into their own. Yeah, it still hasn't been duplicated. Mike bag is better than James. Saying that James has no bag to me sounds like cap that you just don't like him. Um, Because talk to the Pistons when he scored what 17 in a row, something like that in the fourth quarter. Talk to the Celtics when he took over. Right, like the bag just looked different. Now, did Jordan have a better scoring package? Yeah, sure. Was Jordan averaging triple doubles? No. Right? So it's two different players. Trying to compare Jordan to LeBron to Kareem is foolish. They're just three completely different players. Completely different. Which is why that's the Mount Rushmore. That's it. After them, 4 through 7. This is that second tier of Rushmore. If you want to do like at the top of the mountain and then that next tier right there, all goats in their own respect. I have Hakeem Olajuwon, Tim Duncan, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird. Those four. Those four. Absolutely dominant. Absolutely dominated. Dominated. Keep in mind, Magic and Bird was smacking Jordan around for the longest. For the longest. Tim Duncan kept LeBron in his place for a while. Remember his first finals run? They couldn't do nothing. Could do nothing. If you're watching that game, he was running through people. That's not a bag, no post game. Man, stop, bro, stop. Running through people. This is one of the dumbest statements. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not calling you dumb at all. I respect your opinion. I'm saying the idea that LeBron just ran fast in a straight line and got to the rim. So my undergrad is in kinesiology. Right? So it's understanding how the body moves, develops. I was a trainer. So body mechanics, motor skill development, all those things I studied to a science. You have to understand what it takes to make that look that easy. You can't just run in the NBA in a straight line. People are going to steal the ball from you from a help defense or on ball defense. They're going to take a charge. They're going to get in your way. They're going to throw something at you that's going to keep you from being able to get all the way in. Or unless you're saying the Pistons defense was so terrible with Ben Wallace, Rasheed Wallace, right, Tayshaun Prince, Rip, Chauncey, are you telling me those defenses were so shitty that all LeBron had to do was just run fast through people? Right? Like think about what you're really saying when you make that statement. His body intelligence to be able to control his speed, to create open lanes, using his eyes to redirect the defense, to get you looking one way while Rasheed was there. And don't act like he wasn't putting up stats when Ben was there. Just because they didn't win that series didn't mean that he wasn't also dominating in those series. Right? Same thing with Jordan and the Pistons back in the day. He was dominant. He just couldn't beat him. It's a testament to the Pistons' greatness. It doesn't discount Jordan. Right? So LeBron ain't faced better comp than Mike. What? What? Stop it, bro. Stop it, bro. I can go. I've done this too many times. Done this too many times. Done this way too many times. Yes, facts. Tim Duncan is better than anybody Jordan ever faced in the finals. Period. 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 He faced an old, injured, not old, an injured Magic Johnson. That's who he beat. And an injured Isaiah Thomas. And an old and injured Larry Bird. That's how they marched through to win that first championship. And then none of those teams ever came back. I didn't say Tim. Is Tim Duncan better than Magic? That's a real conversation. That's actually a better conversation, bro. That's actually a better conversation, if I'm honest with you. Is Tim Duncan better than Magic? I would say Magic had higher heights. Tim Duncan had more longevity of greatness. And considering what he did on the defensive end and the offensive end, is saying something. Right? and that he had to go through Shaq and Kobe. He went through Shaq and Kobe. Went through Shaq and Kobe, right? Karl Malone, all those guys. He went through greats. Tim Duncan is all-time underrated. I still put Dream ahead of him because he went through even bigger greats. Prime David Robinson, prime Patrick Ewing, right? Prime Karl Malone, young Karl Malone, right? He was going through Clyde in his prime, right? Like he went through gauntlets. Man, stop it, man. Talk about system, bro. Systems are made by the players. The coaches will tell you that. A great coach will develop a system that fits the players, right? Phil Jackson went in and told Michael Jordan and said, "Hey, I've got a system that if you do these things, the game will get easier and we can all win." It was for Mike. The Spurs system was for Tim Duncan. How do we know? Because the moment he left, what happened? LaMarcus Aldridge couldn't carry that shit the same way. Multiple time all-star, all NBA level player. Couldn't reach the same heights. Think about it. Think about it. Jordan never faced anybody as good as Tim Duncan. Definitely not in their prime. LeBron had to face Tim 3 times in the NBA Finals. No, sorry. Yes, 3 times. Lost twice. Won once. I always say you're measured not by who you beat oftentimes, but also by who you lost to. Who you lost to. How good you had to be for someone to beat you. For someone to beat you. Telling me the Utah Jazz was an all-time great team compared to what LeBron faced? Which one of those teams? People hype 90s big ball, Bill Cartwright, yep, and Ostertag weren't running around. Facts. I mean, it was just a completely different game. LeBron literally played through eras. Jordan, it was kind of the same era. You kind of continuing that 80s, 90s basketball. LeBron had to evolve. He had to evolve. In that 2000s, league was running amok with just crazy, ridiculous athletic talent. Tracy McGrady, Vince Carter, all of them. LeBron came in on that, transcended it, back end of Kobe's era, stepped into his own era that he defined. He defined 2010s through 20s. That 10-year stretch was crazy. And then the Steph, KD, Warriors, 3 ball shooting, running around. Like he's playing through eras, which is another testament. But like I said, they're at the top 3. Man, we getting off topic, y'all, but I ain't mad at it. Jazz was better than the Mavs. No, they were not. No, they were not. No, they were not. No, they were not. Sorry. Sorry, bro. Sorry. Jazz was not better than the Mavs that LeBron faced. Those Mavs that LeBron faced, remember, they swept Kobe's championship Lakers. I think it was a gentleman's sweep. Beat him in 5. Are you telling me Kobe's Lakers, Paul Gasol, Andrew Bynum, Lamar Odom, Kobe, Ron Artest, Derek Fisher. You're telling me that squad sucked. That's why they got gentlemen swept by those Mavs. That you're saying the Utah Jazz was better than. Yeah, sorry, bro. Sorry, bro. Sorry. Jason Kidd, Sean the Matrix, Marion, Defensive Player of the Year, Tyson Chandler, Dirk, MVP Dirk. If you're telling me MVP Dirk or MVP Karl Malone, I'm going with MVP Dirk. Let me make sure on my list it reflects that. Because I think I have Karl Malone. Yeah, no, yeah, I got Karl Malone right after Dirk. Let me go through the rest of my list. Dwayne Pritchard. If Asar and Ron Holland turn out three balls that can run the court, be scary. Our best team will be if Asar can handle the point. Completely agree. Completely agree. Completely agree. Let me get to the rest of my list. Excellent point, Dwayne. I'm gonna get to the rest of my list here. After that second tier, the next tier, we got Shaq, Wilt Chamberlain, Bill Russell, Julius Irving, Oscar Robinson. I would say Bob McAdoo, Moses Malone, Isaiah Thomas, Zeke, Pistons, Isaiah Thomas. That's my next tier. After, and man, that's a hard tier. That's a rough tier because it takes nothing away from any of them. They were freaking savage. Those dudes were freaking. Yo, if we saw those dudes coming to the draft today, number one picks. Number one picks. All the guys that I've listed, they were in the draft, number one picks. Right? Cooper who? Who? People forget how good some of these dudes were. Karl Malone is better than Dirk. Man, and Stockton at the time, 40-year-old kid. Man, I mean, you could say one kid was not 40 years old on that Mavs team. He went on to play with the Knicks several more years. After several years in Dallas, Jason Kidd could still lock up, play D, rebound, orchestrate the offense and defense. You put him on John Stockton, he smothers the hell out of John. And you throw Defensive Player of the Year, Tyson Chandler in the middle. You still got Deshaun Stevenson that they could probably stick on Hornacek. Sean Marion, better than anyone else you want to bring up outside of Stockton and Malone. All right, he actually needs to be in my 50. If he's not, I need to add him in there. Actually, let me just throw this in now so I don't forget. Let's go. Wait, what just happened? Oh, did I highlight something and delete? Damn it. Hope I didn't do that. Ah, shit. I might have fucked up. Damn it. Might have highlighted some shit and then got deleted. Fuck. Might have to do my list again. Fuck. Y'all got me distracted and I deleted some shit. Yeah. All right. So after Isaiah Thomas, I got Patrick Ewing, D Wade, Stephen Curry, Kobe Bryant, Kevin Durant, Dave Robinson, Jerry West. Solid to me. Then I got Nikola Jokic, Dirk Nowitzki. I had Patrick Ewing twice on this. I'm gonna have to make that adjustment. I think I moved Patrick Ewing down. I need to delete. I don't think I would put Patrick Ewing above. You know what? I'm gonna have to revisit Patrick Ewing. But I got Karl Malone 26, Giannis 27. Then I have Allen Iverson, Charles Barkley, Clyde Drexler, Scottie Pippen, Jason Kidd, Dwight Howard. I'm not as high on John Stockton as some. I don't know what type of career John Stockton has without Karl Malone. That's why. And for me, it's a big thing to be able to stand alone. How do you do without somebody next to you? Right? I know what Jordan could be without Scotty. I know what Scotty could be without Jordan because I've seen it. Never seen Stockton without Malone. When he's not feeding somebody who has that type of athleticism and ability and size and skill, is he Mark Price with defense? Maybe scrappier version of Mark Price. I don't think he gets the accolades. All right, as good a defender Peyton was, he didn't play in the perimeter era. True, true. Eras also matter. Get to the rest of the list. After Jason Kidd, got Dwight Howard, Kevin Garnett, Kawhi Leonard, Dominique Wilkins, James Harden. And then this is where I start looking at Ray Allen, Carmelo Anthony, Pistol Pete. So I'm gonna throw Ray Allen here. I know some shit just happened right now, and because I just saw the numbers readjust, and I was like, "Oh shit!" think I might have highlighted somebody, didn't realize it. Um, and then when I pressed enter, it deleted. That's some bullshit. And then Sean Marion. But you know what? I appreciate some of y'all challenging me because it makes me revisit my list, and I got to figure out this whole Patrick Ewing because Patrick Ewing was a monster, but he had different eras. Um, was he better than David Robinson? Probably. Went to different heights. We came out of the East. Who knows? But let me just quickly before I got to go. I actually got to head out. Let me just like this. The offseason the Detroit Pistons have had was a good offseason. You got way off track. I might have to recap the title of this video. Um, they had a pretty decent offseason. They got the right guys, just like they did last season. And I think that we need to trust Trajan Langdon that that's what he does. He goes out and he gets the right guys. And if you look at some of these front office guys who have done great things, like Peyton Pritchard, I think that it's a testament that they have consistently gone out and gotten the right guys, not the guys that everyone wanted them to get. Right? OKC was real quiet for a long time. You know, picking up Le Guin's Dort, who I think went undrafted, right, or second round. Picking up guys like Isaiah Joe, real quiet, right? Nobody was really checking for them, making these moves, making the correct moves, developing guys. Kendrick Williams, right? Underrated, really uneventful moves. And the team just kept growing and getting better. And then after they have a 57-win season, then all of a sudden, let's go all in and get Alex Caruso and Isaiah Hartenstein. And the rest is history. I think we see a similar progression. Duncan Robinson, amazing pickup. He's better than Tim Hardaway Jr., better than Malik Beasley. Let me just say it outright. 6'8", has just as much, if not more skill. I think he's better. I just wish Jaden Ivey had Case and Wallace defense. I think we see that come out in Jaden Ivey this coming season. I think we see that. I think we see Jaden Ivey more dedicated to the defensive end at the point of attack. But his offensive ceiling is way higher than Case and Wallace. So I don't want him to be Case and Wallace. Just when we need you to, can you lock up? Karis LeVert, great pickup, scoring punch off the bench, playmaking, facilitating. He's going to take a lot of pressure off Cade, which I think is what we're really focused on. This team now has the sustainability to outright not have to lean on Cade. And that's a testament to the roster construction. When you do not depend upon your best player to have a chance to win game in and game out. Last season, we 100% depended upon Cade. Ivy had his moments, right? He hit some game winners without Cade. One against the Raptors without Cade, and then the one in Sacramento, Cade was there. He was more of a decoy. But it's to say that a full season of having this level of depth, talent around Cade, this is what you want to communicate to your best player. That we have a team that can win without you. It's not all on you. And you can be great here and not get worn down in the process. You know, because yeah, you want to win. Yeah, you want to be the man. You also don't want to get worn down. You want to have a long career. And I think that having a talented team around your star player is one of those clearly communicated sentiments that you can sustain winning here, right? Like the big thing that happened with Giannis is Middleton got hurt. That's what closed the window. When Middleton went down, then you forced Drew into a different role that wasn't sustainable. So then you make the trade and you bring in Dame. Middleton is still hurt. If Middleton is healthy over the past 3 to 4 years, Giannis, there's no talk about him going anywhere. He's still at the top of the East. He lost his number 2. And Dame was never able to really step in and replace it in the same way. Right. So I think the Pistons have a really talented roster around them. Where does that stack them up? And I may have to come back and just do another live video to really talk about what I wanted to talk about in terms of the um, off-season moves, right? The draft, Chaz Lanier, the depth on this team, Bobby Clintman, what he can do start off tomorrow in Summer League. I'm curious if Paul Reed might be able to play some power forward for us alongside of Isaiah Stewart. I think that could work, especially when you still got Karis LeVert, Duncan Robinson, Ron Holland, and Marcus Sasser. You're going to have more than enough shooting, depending upon how you level that out. If you do Sasser, Robinson, and LeVert, I think you could play Paul Reed and Isaiah Stewart alongside of each other, which would give us one hell of a physical backup lineup. I think we could dominate the boards, still get out in transition, have plenty of shooting, shot creation. That could be a great second lineup team. And I want to get into that more later, but I do have to hop off. I got to be somewhere. Um, all this to say is if Bobby Clinton can't step up, Paul Reed could be a serious option for us at the four as a backup four, and we can see how that runs. I like the roster. How does that stack us up in the rest of the East? I did a list. I'm always doing a list. I'm always doing a side list. I'm always doing, that's just what I do. I do my list. And let me see. Um, let me see. Sandro, you're hilarious, bro. My rankings for next season. Let me see. Make sure I got all the one, two, three, four, 30. I'm missing two other teams I need to add to this. But let's just start it off. I got the Cavs and the Knicks at the top of the East next season. The Cavs look like they're standing pat with that roster. That was the number one seed by far last season. I think they step into that knowing that Evan Mobley is going to continue to get better. He's only going to get better. Um, and they're going to be that much more dangerous. I think the 1-2 punch is going to be Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley. And Darius Garland's going to have to fit himself in. Now with Lonzo Ball there, I know it's crazy to say Darius Garland's got to fit himself in with Jared Allen, but let's be clear, there's a clear tier on that team. It's Mobley and Mitchell. Then it's Allen and Garland. They're still great all-star level players. They're just not at a superstar level. So there's tiers to it. And then I think Lonzo Ball was a great acquisition for them. I think he's someone that is going to be able to spell this team by being able to play with both guards. Um, sure, I wouldn't be shocked if they also have all three of them in a closing lineup. But I would say that those two are at the top. Those two teams, Cleveland Cavaliers and New York Knicks, are at the top of the East for next season. And then, ironically, when I did my list, I ended up putting the Pistons at third, which I think speaks more to my man Downtown Deuce's outlook that this is going to be a 50-plus win team. I had them at 44 to 46. They could very likely be over 50. But I do think that there's going to be a lot of competition in that back end 3 to 6 range. Really 3 to 8 range. There's going to be a lot of I mean, I say competition. I mean heavy competition. Like heavy competition, right? Heavy competition. You got the Pistons, you got the Celtics, you got the Hawks, you got the Raptors, you got the Pacers, you got the Magic, and you got the Bucks and the 76ers. All of those teams, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, it is going to be an absolute dogfight. Anyone gets injured, knock on wood, right? Something happened. It's only gonna take 1 or 2 slip games. We're gonna see an Eastern Conference, I think, in the playoffs, right? Outside of injuries and stuff like that. We're gonna see an Eastern Conference next season where 3 through 10 is gonna look like the Western Conference last year, where they're only separated by maybe 1 to 3 games. That's what it's gonna look like. That's literally what it's gonna look like. It's gonna be a small margin of error that's gonna separate one team from the next. So expect that. Anticipate that. This team is going to be in a fight all year long. Right? The Bulls, I like what they did with Noah Asingwe. Not is it Noah Asingwe? It's Noah Asingwe. Right? I love that pickup for them. Right? I love what Matas Buzelis is becoming. right? Now the depth with Patrick Williams. Still got Kobe White playing hardball with Josh Giddey, which I think they should. Don't overpay that boy. He's not worth it. Io DeSumo coming back healthy. They still got Zach Collins in the middle. Vucevic is back. They're going to have chemistry. Still got Billy Donovan at the helm. Um, yeah, they got the other big man from Indiana last year. I forget his name. 6'10" forward. They're going to be deep. They're going to be talented. And if they can put it all together, they're going to be right there in the mix for the play in. Right there in the mix. Oh, I did not mention the Heat. That's what I'm missing. Miami Heat. You know what? I got them Miami Heat right after the Sixers. Let's put them right there because I'm not sold on Tyler Hero. Yeah, really at all. So then when I look at the Pistons and how they're going to stack up, I think they have more talent than just about any other team beneath them. Uh, Chaz don't know what they want to do now. Even the top picks don't want to play for them. That's true. I don't know how Danny Ainge even has a job. He's done a terrible job there in Utah. They feel directionless. They look like they're trying to trust the process and tank. Stupid. Um, while holding on to an all-star level player in marketing who's literally sitting on the sidelines in the prime of his career, which is like egregious. He's 28 years old. Like, what are you doing? Um, but this podcast, this not podcast, this channel is not about the Jazz, so I don't really care. But my energy is going down. Let me just wrap this up. I'll probably come back on here and do the Eastern Conference rankings. I also want to do the rankings, player rankings. Where does Cade Cunningham really rank? I saw this channel, not pick a side. What was it? Um, I forget the name, but they were talking about the top players going into next season based upon this prior season, and they were ranking like Luca and all those guys. And I was like, where does Cade rank? Where does Ivy rank? Right? Could is Caden player's choice? Thank you, Ray. Appreciate that. Is Caden Ivy top 25? Both of them? I think Cade is top 15. I think Ivy by the end of the season is going to be top 25 potentially. But I wanted to do that ranking similar to what I did with the all-time great list. Kind of have a discussion with y'all. I think that could be a lot of fun. Either way, look, I gotta get out of here. It's your man, 100 grand. Ross with Rock never stops. I always love kicking it with y'all, man. Because real talk, y'all be mad spicy in the community in the chat community. I love it. I'm here for all the smoke. I ain't never ran from y'all mother in my Bernie Mac voice. And I'm here for all the smoke. All the smoke. But as always, if I didn't get to your comment here, feel free to throw it down in the comment section after I post the video. I usually get to those comments usually a day or so, a week or so later. But I definitely try to respond. Hey, if you enjoyed this, smash the like button for me. It's a little thing, but it's a big thing. Helps the channel, and it also tells the YouTube algorithm you enjoy having interactive live chats with your man, 100 grand, right? So smash the like button, hit subscribe, and the bell for notifications so you know exactly when I go live so you can hop on with me. We can chop it up for real. Get at y'all next time. Peace.